bilateral relations between Egypt and Jordan, and concerning exploring new chances in the tourism and archaeological fields between the two countries. We are delighted to be joined over the phone by our prominent guest, Mr. Walid Batouty, tourism expert and former advisor to the Minister of Tourism. Mr. Walid, great pleasure having you with us, and thank you for your time.
The honor is mine.
Well, talking about exploring the opportunities between the two brotherly countries, Egypt and Jordan, and the tourism and archaeological fields for the more joint ventures, projects, etc. What makes Egypt and Jordan fit for two joint tourism projects?
Well, let me give you my opinion regarding this issue. First of all, Jordan is considered to be an extension of the Egyptian history due to the Nabatean time, due to the Greek and Roman history. So that is considered to be an extension. And let me tell you also another thing. It is very important to exchange experiences between both countries. As you know, recently, all the neighboring countries, they discovered that in order for them to establish tourism, they need to have their name linked with Egypt somehow, due to the fact most of the countries neighboring with it, when they want to sell tourism to their country, then in the programs they would say, visit Egypt, and Egypt is a selling word to be on any brochure, any program, any promotion. It's to put the word Egypt, especially it's very attracting due to the fact of lots of other things, our history. Now the Grand Egyptian Museum is a good selling point worldwide, and the most important thing is the current situation in the Middle East. That's also been a very important point, that most of these countries needs to have a start. What do I mean by start? Here, tourism has stopped in most of the neighboring countries completely, and they need to have something to boost their tourism. So to boost the tourism, you need to somehow rub shoulder with Egypt, include visiting, because Jordan is a very attractive country, a very attractive destination, weather-wise, services, sites, everything, and it has been doing good. Some of the companies that I do work with, they've always been selling Egypt and Jordan, visit Egypt and Jordan, and if anybody else wants to join, they would always connect their name with Egypt regarding this issue. Yeah. Now, as we see on the archaeological experiences, this is a knowledge. Some countries would have a little bit more, somebody would have some technology. So it is very important to tie your relationship with all the neighboring countries. And I'm telling you ahead of time now, watch when the situation in Libya will go stable. You will hear about also cooperation with Libya, because they do have archaeological sites, and it's very important, and it should be visited. They may not have already focused on that before, but you will see that we will shed light on it soon once things goes better and security-wise. For the time being, the one country that, thank God, that has no issues regarding security is Egypt. But other countries, of course, they have been suffering a little bit from the geopolitical situation of the Middle East. So it is very important and smart to start building up again by coming and working things between their countries and Egypt, due to the fact that the season is about to start. It already started, by the way, yeah. But it's already to kick off much better. So you need to come quickly and work out things between you and Egypt, join projects, join agreements and stuff like this, in order to boost. Egypt is the booster of any of the neighboring countries, that they want to boost tourism in their places.
Yeah, talking about the religious tourism between the two countries, between Egypt and Jordan, and beyond religious tourism, talking about how to make this year-round tourism product as well.
Well, I must say, let me first speak about Egypt regarding the weather.
Yeah.
Okay, we have distinguished our destination because all year round you have places in Egypt to visit. Like for the time being now, the high visit tourism is in the north coast of Egypt, which
Yeah.
it has been developed very well.
Of course, especially within the heat waves in Europe and everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you mentioned this. With the global warming as well, then Egypt is a winning card. I mean, we have the
Exactly.
ace, and we're doing good. What we used to miss in the past is the facilities and the resorts. Now we do have a lot of this, and it's covering, and it's very well. So I can see here in the north coast now, where I'm talking to you from, by the way, is large
Great.
number of...
And how is the
large
weather
number-
over there? Of course,
Fantastic.
lovely.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And now we see so many foreigners. So we used to see the Middle Eastern, the Arabs, this is their destination in the summer, but surprisingly now you see lots of also foreigners. And as you know, there is a national carrier that started a direct line already from Moscow to Burj Al Arab over here in the north coast, direct flight directly, and it's also very promising because...
And there is also Moscow, Alamein, and there's so
Exactly.
many direct flights to many destinations worldwide to Alamein and the north coast.
Lebanon and the
Yep.
and the whole Middle East, they have direct line with the Al Alamein, and once you open a destination like this and you're provided with the necessary things that it's needed, such as immigration, issuing the visa at the airport, all the facilities, then you have enriched that destination and made it reachable and available for everyone. So others would love to have, like, why don't you have a Russian tourist coming visiting Egypt or the north coast of Egypt, and it could be doing Jordan to visit because they do have some Dead Sea, they have the, you know, lots of sites, you know, the treasury that they have there, lots of things that Jordan also offers. The only thing that was holding Jordan recently was that being in the zone of the war, which was holding a lot of people up, and lots of insurance companies were not approving this area. And you know, this band goes on and off every now and then. So it is very important that they work on and adding and always having the news mentioning Egypt with them, because Egypt is an open destination and people could come. Bear in mind, you don't have to fly to Jordan. You could come to Egypt, and from Egypt you take the ferry from Al-Aqaba and be there within half an hour. So we're also putting lots of other means and ways of transportation to these destinations, since we're working together. The name, as I said, Egypt is a winning card at this formula right now. And you mentioned a very crucial thing. The heat wave in Europe has been pushing a lot of people thinking, why don't I go to the Mediterranean Sea? I will never, you know, in the Mediterranean, you don't have anybody has crystal beaches as much as we do have here in Egypt, and the diversity between and the number of hotels that we have, and the highways, and the facilities, and the nightlife, and the outing, and this and that.
And the many new resorts that we got now along the north coast everywhere, with high standard services all the year round, not only the summer vacation or the summer season.
Exactly. It extended the time It extended the time, especially, for example, let me give you the Scandinavian countries. I have seen Italians, I have seen here, I've seen Italians, I've seen Chinese, big numbers, by the way, and I've seen Russians from Eastern Europe. I've seen people from different places. They're also enjoying themselves and having their vacation with you here in Egypt with the Egyptian families, because you have to bear in mind, it could be a summer vacation, it could be this and that, but at the end, which is a very important thing, it's a family vacation. A family that most of people would like to come and spend the time at the beach, and on the next umbrella right next to them is an Egyptian family, and sometimes they get to know each other, and they get to and the Egyptians in general are very friendly, whether whoever is on the next seat sitting next to you or the umbrella on the beach, whether they're Arabs, they're Lebanese, they are from the Gulf, they are Russian, Chinese, whatever, they are sharing with you and enjoying the good weather, the very good prices, by the way, compared to their economy. Let me put it this way, compared to their economy, plus the facilities. Everything here is available right now. I was taking a walk in one of the gated communities, and I have seen people shopping like no tomorrow with international brands, big brands. The Egyptians may not be buying from these brands, but you've made it possible to those who would like to do, because the summer, it also involves shopping. There is some people like to shop, and these things are, these brands are suitable with their prices to them. So you've catered to these people. Plus, of course, the restaurants, all kinds of restaurants, name it, whatever cuisine that you'd like to have, from Italian, Lebanese, Chinese, whatever cuisine that you like, in Egyptian, of course, and the places to hang around and to go around, and the kids can go and have ice cream. You know, all of these things are very attractive. Plus, the most important thing is the people, when they do social media videos with their own phones, and this is to send a message to their families, friends, and it's always positive. And the Egyptian government many years ago started to work very scientifically on something called positive experience. We have worked on the experience of the guest, that he must go back home, and he's the one to promote Egypt in his own social media. That is the one that has unbelievable touch to their friends, their cousins, their neighbors, and they always would sit with them and ask them, and they're the ones who would encourage them and tell them. I was just reading a report just before me coming with you, that is about a woman, an American woman, is saying how safe is to go to Egypt as a single woman. In the country, in the old days, we used to have a bad publicity and a bad report that was paid against Egypt. Now all of these things vanish, because the people whose brave came and discovered that was all wrong, and this is wrong publicity, and it's unfair, and they came, they had a great time, and they go. So that's what the government works on. The government works on that the guests would come and visit Egypt and have a positive experience and pass it on as they go back home. That is the most important thing. And trust me, the Egyptians in general, they are very good. They are one of the main attraction as well to this country. So as we said, we have the weather, we have lots of things, and we have now the facilities. We may not have this in the past.
Exactly.
Now we do have it. If you look in the social media, you will see not just the hate wave that is hitting Europe. No, let me tell you something. There is a very big complaint about theft and pickpocketing.
Yeah, exactly. In big European countries, and this is really unbelievable.
Okay,
exactly.
there has been now awareness and awakening in these European countries against something that is happening on their land, because they started to discover that it has negative impact on the experience of the tourists. You know, imagine that somebody lost his passport, lost his credit card, lost his wallet, lost his phone, lost his money.
Yep.
So it's extremely bad, and it turns the vacation to a nightmare.
Exactly.
So these things, you don't hear about it in Egypt.
Yeah,
Okay?
right.
Because you
Which
do
makes
have
Egypt actually the most ever safest oasis worldwide. Really, Mr. Walid Batouty, tourism expert and former advisor to the Minister of Tourism, many thanks for your insights and for being with us. Short break, and we'll be right back.